Normally, you would just see me get started, hear the bell go off, and I would just do the work. I don't feel like doing that today, considering I've been sick and all that other shit, but that's not what you're here for. So this is how I'm going to do that. Now, I call this system checks. I did not coin this term. This is like a term I heard Barry Robinson use once when I was like listening to his content and instructionals. So I did not coin the term system checks, but it makes sense. It's a military term, and it's a term of which, like, the military drills certain protocols. They after they kind of go through their basic training, they'll go through, during their basic tactics of clearing rooms, disabling mines in the road, and so on and so forth. Even if you've been deployed for a certain period of time, if you're a regular operator, after a certain period of time, you need to do regular systems checks to stay on top of your game. It is no different for us. It's no different for anyone in any field. After you go out and try to constantly perform, you need to go back and refine the most minute of things to ensure that you stay on top of your game and do not become sloppy or skipping steps yourself, even after already drilling them. Nothing is permanent. It's just you have to constantly refresh it in your mind to maintain that permanence. So what I'm going to do this time, instead of just trying to go through the whole thing, I'm going to just try a thing where I just explain to you the entire layout of the entirety of the drill and show one kind of sample round as I explain the maneuver, instead of you having to constantly skip around the video all the time just to see the exact thing you're looking for, which you're probably going to do anyway. This is just going to be me showing you, like, okay, this is this maneuver, this is this maneuver, and you going and telling you the set of rounds that you would do. And if you just feel like going to the list, you can just go to the list. But if you're unsure of what a movement is just by seeing it in text form, just come up here and I'll show you. So this is the basic overview of what we're going to be going through here. Steps, trotting, lateral steps, front step shuffles, and back step shuffles, and circle steps, which is just an L step alternative. I'm not going to be encompassing every single footwork maneuver there is, because I'm not making an hour-long video. I'm not about to do all that. But what I will do is explain the basic maneuvers that you will be able to daisy chain into several other maneuvers, which make some of the higher level footwork maneuvers that you may see. Granted, you can do this with any aspect of your game. You can do this with your punch form. You can do this with your defense. You can do this, with like certain guard dispositions. You can do this with any part of your game. It's not something that you can only do with your footwork. But since your feet are the start of everything in this game, I'd rather start this off by explaining this like this in a simple enough format and just show you a couple of clips of how it's going to look, while kind of explaining the intended purpose and use of it. So let's start off by getting into steps, and then I'll follow up in the order that you see on the screen. So I fucked around and forgot my own shit, but here we go. We're starting off with around the ring. Around the ring is ATR, and that's all that is. Essentially, you're just practicing being able to consistently laterally move from a squared position, because you can't really do extensive lateral movement while you're still in a bladed stance. You have to step out to become squared and move in it. Everybody does it at some point or another in the fight, but nobody ever practices it. Everybody always practices sprints, runs, and straight lines forwards and backwards, but never work laterally and then wonder why their legs exhaust in the fight. So you're just practicing it. I had it broken down into 3 rounds. I'm just doing all 3 together just so you can get a clear view at it. The way you would do it across 3 rounds, you would spend 1 round going left, 1 round going right, and then the 3rd round you would just be changing directions and adding little step feints and direction changes. And also the whole time your hands are up, because if you're just constantly moving laterally without your hands being up, you're just taking a chance of getting cracked in your shit. And we don't play like that. We don't play like that because the damage you can sustain in this game is real. So practice your drills with 100% efficacy, but this is just a systems check, so you just be doing 3 rounds like that. Alright, so next up we got steps. This is probably the most basic fundamental piece of footwork that you'll use the most. You'll literally just get in your stance, and whichever direction you wish to go, you take a singular step. You don't have to go in any particular order in terms of like following the steps. You can, chain them together in quick succession. You can take it slow. You'll only really be doing 2 rounds of this within the systems check. The actual full drill has a couple of extras if you want, but for the most part, on the first round, you'll just be stepping forward, backwards, left, and right, but you're always going with the correct foot each time. And when you get to the second round, on each step, you're throwing a 1-2, and I am adding a roll after each 1-2. So if I step forward, I'll come forward with a 1-2. If I go back, I jab, I wait till my rear foot lands, then I throw the 2. If I go left, I finish the step, then I do the 1-2. If I go right, it's the same thing. So this is just the most basic fundamental piece of footwork that you'll probably use the most of, and it's pretty self-explanatory. It's just basic fundamental steps. It's probably the easiest thing you'll be doing here. The next thing we have is trotting or galloping. This one's not going to be that long. You're only going to be doing 2 rounds of this. I have a full drill like this that I have notated down, but for the first round, you're literally just going to be trotting or galloping forward like a horse would be at half speed. This is how you should be, encroaching distance upon an op. You shouldn't be walking. You shouldn't be doing no pit bull cruise shit. You shouldn't be doing none of that. And while you're doing that, you're going to be defending the jab and throwing your own jab while doing so on the back end. That's what you're going to do for the first round. And for the second round, you can add a right hand at the start of whatever dimension you're at and at the end of it. So this is basically how you should close distance. And also, if you're moving backwards, you shouldn't just be gathering your feet. You should be trotting backwards to try to walk them. This is how you typically would initiate or set up disengagement traps and things of that nature. Alright, next up we have the famous lateral steps. This is probably something that gyms has probably hankered into your head about basic positioning that guys seldom do, minus at the highest levels anymore, but this is pretty straightforward. I have the full expansive version of this, but we're just going to keep this simple. About, 2 to 4 rounds or like 2 to 3 rounds. First round, you're going to step to your left, whichever stance you may be in, while going directly to that left. You're not going up into that left, so you don't want to get closer. You're trying to step in a circle, not towards them. And then you're going to do the same thing in the opposite direction for the second round. And then for the third round, you can go back to the left and add some offense while you're going that way. I chose to just, mix it all together just to show you everything that you could do while stepping left and right with fundamental footwork. But you're just, going to be testing your system. Like I said, as you go to your left, you can throw jabs, understanding, where your feet need to be as you step to these angles and the distance that you can maintain while putting yourself in advantageous positioning. For the most part, that's all you're going to be pretty much doing, man. Gems has 10,000 videos on this, and I've explained this a couple different times. It's not that hard to understand. Just step to your angles. It's nothing complex, and you should be able to do this even while you're dead tired. Just pressure test your system sometimes. Alright, so this one for all my Chocolatito and Loma fans. This one only gonna be 2 rounds. I'm actually throwing punches off of the front step shuffles and the back step shuffles. You don't have to if you're unfamiliar with them, but if you're more familiar with them and you practice them a bit, you can. But if you're going to be doing front step shuffles and back step shuffles, please control the hands, because you don't want to be caught jumping through the air without controlling the fucking gloves. If you're going on the front step shuffle, as you can see, I'm a southpaw, so I'll be going weak side. I would try to get control of the lead glove, then go that way. And if I'm trying to go with the back step shuffle, I get control of their right hand, and I take 1 step with my left foot, and then I go into the actual shuffle. Because sometimes I could just get control of the glove and take that 1 step and then get some offense off.
but most times they won't stay still long enough for you to get the back step shuffle after that one step. So it all really depends on your spacing and where you are in the ring at the time. But this is a fun one to do, especially once you get a feel for the actual movement itself, and you can try to see what offense work and what doesn't. So it's pretty straightforward. You're only going to do about 2 rounds of this. You can either just do 2 rounds practicing the move itself, or you can just do 2 rounds practicing your offense off of it. Alright, last but not least, we have our circle steps, which is an L step alternative. I did not invent this move. This was actually something I learned from Coach Barry Robinson, you know. Like, no one really invented any moves. It's just certain shit that's not commonly used. Instead of just doing an L step, which you obviously realize you can only do to your strong side, a circle step is just taking a step out. As you can see, when I'm going to the lead side, I take a right step first with my right foot, and then I shuffle after. And then if I want to go strong side with it, I take a step with it and I shuffle right after that. It's a very basic L step alternative that you can actually do in either direction. And as you can see, once you get into a rhythm with it, you can move pretty fast. Especially if you take a further step out, you can shuffle even further off of it. You can use this to obviously set traps off of, like you've seen people do with L steps, but the difference is you're not compromising your base. You're still in position with it. We're only going to do a few rounds on this, just like we did every other time. Like I said, this is more so of a systems check. I have a specified circle step drill I'll eventually post something on, but this is just kind of, you know, getting a feel for the movement and doing a system check to try to help ingrain it into your body and get that fucking L step out your system, because the L step ain't nothing but the cousin of the rhythm step. That's something I really liked as a quote by Coach Barry Robinson. So try to get this in your game. You know, you want to get rid of that goddamn L step, man. L step will get your chin just like a rhythm step. Fix that shit. And that's pretty much it, man. This is nothing really hard to interpret. You just going through some of these basic fundamental movements, and as you've seen probably in other videos I may have posted, I changed all more advanced maneuvers it's just a bunch of basic maneuvers sequenced together, and you can just, you know, and it just looks very fluid. That's all it is. But you have to, there are times where you're going to isolate and do the specified drills that is, you know, probably anywhere from 8 to 12 or however long the rounds may be on those specified drills. But whenever you're doing a system check, it's more so like, let's say you just been sparring a lot the last few weeks, or you just came off of a fight and whatnot, and you just want to make sure everything worked because you might have, you know, altered or adjusted what it is that you normally do just to get over on the opposition in a fight, and that may have an effect on your fundamentals. So it's always good to regularly, like, all right, let me just see how everything's feeling and looking. Let me do a just systems check. You know, ain't nobody above doing a systems check, man. And anybody ever tell you that, they're gonna get knocked the fuck out one day. So just do that sometimes. It's not gonna kill you.